let's build another tree. Right, so let's take a look at this data right here. So we have along the left side, I'm going to go ahead and write on this one this time. Okay, so along the left side here, we have the list of taxa. And then along the top, we have the list of characters, right? So this table is set up a little bit different from the first one. If you had watched the first one, you would see that. Now, remember from the first one or from the text or the slides, you really need to determine what the out group is. So remember the difference between an out group and the in group. The out group is the group of organisms, or it could be a species, depends on what you are studying. But the one that has that it's most closely related, however, does not have any of the characteristics that you are investigating or has very little of the characteristics. So it's going to be some organism or a group that is very closely related, however, not within the same group. And then the in group is going to be the rest of the organisms in which we are investigating. All right, so if we take a look at this table, remember zeros and ones and what they mean in this table, that the ones mean that that particular character is present, and the zeros mean that that character is not present. So we're going to go ahead and start. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of make it simple. We'll go ahead and draw the line just like we did before. Okay, so this is going to be the ancestor right here. This will be the common ancestor of all the organisms. So if we look at the data up here, we're going to see that the angelfish has none of the characteristics. So what does that suggest? Well, if you said that the angelfish is the outgroup, you are correct. All right, so we'll put angelfish here. Okay, so the angelfish here is the outgroup. So that means the rest of these organisms are the in group, right? So this is the in group right here. So we're going to compare these. Now look, our data is organized very nicely for us. So the next organism that has a particular trait but doesn't have any of the other traits is the frog. And the frog has 4 legs. And if we look at this, every other organism has 4 legs too. So that's going to happen early on during the evolution of these organisms. So we'll go ahead and put 4 legs here. Okay, so that another term for that is a tetrapod. So remember, tetra means 4 and pod is feet. Right, so we have frog here. Okay, so frog doesn't have any other characteristics. Okay, now if we look at this data table, we have the next character. So we took care of the 4 legs. Okay, so we're done with that. And we know that every other organism after this has that, so we don't have any concerns at this point. Then we have the amniotic egg. So we have the crocodile, which has the amniotic egg, but the angelfish and the frog do not. And then everything else also has the amniotic egg. So we can go ahead and put the amniotic egg here. Okay, and we know that the next thing to diverge is the crocodile. All right, so crocodile will go here. All right, so looking at our data again, we've got the amniotic egg up on our table, or on our tree. Now we've got hair. Let's go ahead and look at who has hair and who doesn't. Okay, so we see that the crocodile, of course, doesn't have hair. We already know that. The platypus has hair, and so does all the rest of the organisms. So we can go ahead and put hair along this main lineage. Oops, H-I-R. Okay, and then what is the organism that began, where the hair began, is the platypus. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put platypus here. Okay. Now, mammary glands. So the platypus also has mammary glands, okay? And every other organism also has mammary glands. So we can go ahead and put mammary glands here as well. So we have 2 things in which everything after this along the lineage of the tree have. So hair and mammary glands came together based on this data right here. So we've got the hair and we have the mammary glands on there. So let's look at what's next. So now we have live birth. So it looks like kangaroo, elephant, and koala have the ability to have live birth. However, the platypus does not. So we've got live birth here. Live birth. All right. And we go ahead and branch this off right here. And what do we put there? We put the kangaroo. Okay, so now this is where things start to get funny. So we know the kangaroo has a pouch, right? Now we've got live birth on the tree already. Now pouch, only 2 organisms have the pouch, and the others do not. So we've got koala and the kangaroo. So we want to put them as sister species. So we have a koala here. Then we can put the pouch here. Right? So this suggests that only this line right here, this lineage right here, has the pouch, and the rest after that do not have the pouch. All right, so who do we have next? So we've got the pouch up and running. And then we have the placenta. All right, so we've got the elephant and the gorilla. They have a placenta. However, the kangaroo and koala do not have a placenta, so we'll put placenta here. Okay, now we'll put elephant and gorilla. All right, so it looks like we have a tree here. So let's go ahead and count the traits. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4 instances. 5, 6, 7. All right, so we have 7 events. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this real quick. I'm going to go ahead and put the pointer on here so you can trace what I'm talking about. So right now we have 7 events, and the way I built this should be the most parsimonious way of building this tree. If we had switched something, so we could actually flip this elephant and the gorilla with the kangaroo and the koala. We can flip that, and it still means the same thing. And it would still be just as parsimonious. Because then we'd have placenta here with elephant and gorilla here, and then we'd have pouch here with kangaroo and koala. So, so this should be the most parsimonious tree. Now, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more. How do you think we should distinguish between the 2 that are sisters, right? So we've got 2 groups that are sister groups. So we've got the elephant and the gorilla, and then we have the kangaroo and the koala, right? So I have them branched. Well, now what makes them different? So there's a divergence here. So what do you think? I mean, I'm thinking gorillas are primates, so they have opposable thumbs. Okay, opposable thumbs are not present in elephants. Opposable thumbs allows the primates to be able to grasp and climb trees and stuff. Now, looking at the kangaroo and the koala, both of them have a pouch. They're both marsupials. Now, the thing that comes to mind is maybe the koala lives in a tree and the kangaroo generally does not, even though there are some that do climb trees. But we're going to go ahead and just put arboreal. R-O-B-O-R-E-A-L. Okay. Arboreal. Okay, so that means it lives in a tree. Okay, so it's tree dwelling. All right, so we have characters. So this adds a couple events, right? So we've got 9 events. We changed that a little bit. So that adds some events there, but then that allows us to distinguish between the 2 sister groups. All right, so that's really how you